Good afternoon, everyone. Our topic for today is all about managing conflicts. So, I have two questions here, and at the end of the lesson, I want you to answer. What is conflict and how does conflict resolve? And here we have our objectives. We have 6 objectives. Identify the 4 types of conflicts. Explain how conflict can bring about positive results. Describe methods of preventing conflicts. Describe the 5 phases of a conflict. Identify ways to resolve conflict. And lastly is the describing the 6 steps of problem solving. So here, conflict. So it stated here that usually associated with negative thoughts or unpleasant situations, and if it ignored, can be destructive. So, when we say conflict, this is the misunderstanding of uh, two people or each other. So, hindi lang dalawang tao yung nagkaka-conflict, kundi maaring maraming tao at within the community or here in the dito. So, ang conflict, ito ay hindi magandang gawain kasi nagdudulot ito ng hindi pakikipag-socialize at pakikipag-away sa ibang tao. Ang conflict ay ito yung dahilan ng hindi nyo pagkakaintindihan ng iyong family, yung kaibigan mo, even the teachers, or in your community. So, this is not a good habit for everyone. Pero minsan, hindi natin ito naiiwasan. Pero sabi nga nila, kung may conflict, maaari natin itong i-resolve. Nagkakaroon din ng resolution. So, ngayon, pag-aaralan natin yung mga negative side ng conflict. So, number 1 is the resolution of the conflict ends with a winner and a loser. So, sa pakikipag-away, nagkakaroon tayo ng win-loss situation. May natatalo at may nananalo. So, kung nagwawagi yung nananalo, yung natatalo is nagkakaroon ng disappointment sa kanyang sarili, nagiging mahina yung loob niya, at magiging impact, at ang magiging impact nito ay magkakaroon ng hindi pagkakaintindihan. So, in this scenario, wherein one party in a dispute comes out ahead, achieving their goals or benefiting from the outcome, while the other party does not and may feel they have lost or to make concessions. So here, for example, yung pagkakaroon sa hindi natin naiwasan to sa, for example, sa basketball. 'Di ba, may nananalo at may natatalo, at mas lalo na kapag yung nanalo ay nagkaroon ng cheating or yung mga failure na hindi nakikita, is talagang magkakaroon ng away. Then next, it keeps you from doing your work or feeling good about yourself or others. So here, sinasabi dito na naapektuhan yung mga ginagawa mo. Naapektuhan yung sarili mo or nadi-disappoint ka sa sarili mo. Kapag feeling mo is nagkakaroon ng conflict with one another. So, when these aspects are compromised, it can lead to a decrease in morale and engagement. It's important to identify and address the underlying causes to restore a positive and productive environment. Wherein, dapat kinakailangan nating iwasan yung pagiging mayabang at lagi mong iwasan natin yung nasa mindset natin na lahat ng bagay ay magaling ka. Wherein, hindi mo binibigyan ng chance or hindi mo binibigyan ng opportunity yung ibang classmates mo or yung ibang tao para gawin yung ibang bagay. Then, next is, it undermines morale. So, in here, when morale is undermined, it's causing the group's collective spirit and motivation to deteriorate. Wherein, naibababa yung self-esteem mo at nawawalan ka ng motivation sa iyong sarili. So here, yung impact nito sa isang tao is poor leadership, lack of recognition, unfair practices, or stress working conditions. So, in addressing this issue it is essential for us to restore the morale and ensure a positive and productive environment. So, dapat ito ay hindi mawawala sa ating sarili, a good moral. Dapat, laging think positive in any situations. And here is the individuals involved act aggressively. So, di ba kapag aggressively, yung na-topic natin sa communication, is parang aggressive siya lagi, parang pala desisyon sa buhay, hindi niya iniisip yung mga sinasabi niya, kung siya ba ay tama o mali. Then, when the individual involved act of aggressively, kung magiging aggressive ka, syempre, yung moral mo is undermines, diba? Just what I have said kanina. So, nagkakaroon ng negative outcomes, and including decreased performance, higher turnover rates, and a toxic work environment. Tapos, kapag nagiging aggressive ka, is pwede kang mawawalan ng kaibigan, yung mga mahal mo sa buhay. Kung ikaw lang kung yung sarili mo lang yung iniisip mong tama, tapos hindi mo kino-consider yung feelings or emotions ng iba, or yung mga thoughts nila, is maari silang lumayo sa'yo. So, always, hindi naman masama yung pagiging aggressive, pero dapat hindi lagi-laging ma-attitude, hindi araw-araw ay nagiging aggressive ka, kasi yung mga ginagawa mo din through physical or emotional is yung mga mabubuting ginagawa mo physical and emotional is nakakatulong din sa'yo to communicate, to socialize with other people in a good way. Then, here is, it is harmful to an individual's emotional or physical well-being. So, ito yung sinasabi ko na kapag nagiging aggressive ka or basta nagiging masama yung ugali mo, yung palagi kang palaaway, it leads to a toxic relationship, unhealthy work environment, substance of abuse, or chronic stress, and which can all negatively impact one's quality of life and overall health. So dito, kapag nagkakaroon ng conflict, is hindi lang physical, di ba yung physical is nagkakasakitan na, nagkakaroon ng abuse. Kapag emotional naman is nasasaktan tayo, yung parang dinidibdib natin yung sakit na nararamdaman natin sa ibang tao, yung hindi natin na i-voice out. Yun. Then, last is, it increase absenteeism and turnover. For example, here sa school. Dito na i-example lang natin. So, di ba kapag, for example is, na-exclude yung isang classmates natin, for example, is parang feeling niya is nag-iisa lang siya, wala siyang kaibigan, wala siyang kasama, at mas lalo na at binubuli natin yung isang classmates natin, for example, syempre magiging dahilan yun ng kanyang pag-absent. Nawawalan siya ng motivation, nawawalan siya ng ganang pumasok, at parang natatakot siya na or nagkakaroon siya ng trauma na yung magiging mindset niya na ay hindi na ako papasok kasi bubulihin din nila ako at aawayin. At doon na yung nagkakaroon ng turnover. Wherein sa turnover is syempre mag-stop siya sa pag-aaral niya, magdra-drop. Ganon. Then, magkakaroon ng physical and emotional abuse na yon. Or yung physical, syempre nakikita natin na inaabuso yung kanyang kabaitan, for example. And then, sa work naman, yung mga nagwo-work, for example, syempre sa isang organization or a company, is kapag laging inaaway yung isang tao, is syempre magkakaroon ng absenteeism, wala na siyang ganang pumasok din, turnover is mag-resign na siya sa trabaho niya at maghanap ng iba na which is mas better kaysa sa kanyang pinapasukang trabaho. Ganon. So here, magkakaroon tayo ng examples na gamit yung mga natutunan natin sa negative sides ng conflict. Halimbawa is sa isang klase is nagkaroon ng open forum. Sa open forum na iyon is maaring ma-resolve yung conflict na nangyari sa isang section. And 'di ba kapag open forum is inilalabas natin lahat ng ating mga saloobin, yung mga experiences natin, yung sama ng loob na parang kinikimkim natin. And after that open forum, di ba nagkakaroon ng resolution? Nasolusyonan na yung problema ng isang section. At after that is nagkakaroon na ng pagkakaunawaan at naintindihan na nila yung bawat situation ng isang mag-aaral. At maaring yung open forum na yon yung magiging way para maging as one or magkakaroon ng unity yung isang section. Kaya it is important to resolve the conflict habang maaga pa para hindi lalong lalaki yung gulo na nangyari. Kasi syempre is parang nadadamay yung mga walang kaalam-alam at nadadamay yung mga hindi naman alam kung ano yung dahilan ng conflict. So, we need to resolve that conflict as soon as possible. So, I hope na may natutunan kayo on how to manage the conflict and ano yung magiging epekto nito kung lagi nating tinitake yung pride natin at ano yung magiging epekto nito sa isang tao. Do you understand? Kung may katanungan kayo is pwede nyo i-chat. Charis.
Okay, so let's proceed to the types of conflict. So we have 4 types of conflict. The first one is simple conflict. Simple conflict is usually over a fact or piece of information. Simple conflict is seldom serious and usually easily resolved. So dito sa simple conflict is mas madali siyang mai-resolve kasi sa ganitong uri ng conflict is maaaring yung hindi lang pagkakaunawaan ng dalawang tao dahil sa pagkakaiba nila ng opinion or ideas. So Para ma-resolve yung ganitong uri ng hindi pagkakaunawaan ay kailangan ng masinsinang pag-uusap sa dalawang parties or sa dalawang tao na involved dito. Nang sa ganun is hindi hindi lumala pa yung hindi lumala yung hindi pagkakaunawaan ng dalawang tao para mas magpadali na ma-resolve yun hindi pagkakaunawaan. Palagi nating tatandaan na huwag nating hayaan na nang dahil lang sa simpleng conflict na yan is masira ang pagkatao natin o kaya is masira yung pagkakaibigan natin. Okay? Next type of conflict is false conflict. False conflict is thinking a conflict exists when in reality it does not. So dito sa false conflict, nag-iisip lang tayo ng conflict or yung hindi natin pagkakasundo sa ibang tao na in reality naman is hindi naman talaga siya nag-e-exist. So kumbaga, nag-o-overthink lang tayo ng conflict between the other people. The third type of conflict is ego conflict. Conflict involving egos is probably the most damaging to relationship. So, ito yung pinakamahirap na i-resolve kasi nga nai-involve dito yung dignity, self-respect, self-esteem, and yung pride ng isang tao. Ego is your consciousness of own identity and self-worth. So, ito kung paano mo tinitignan ang iyong sarili at pinapahalagahan ang iyong sarili sa ibang aspeto ng iyong buhay. So, minsan kung mataas yung ego natin, kung mataas yung tingin natin sa sarili natin is maaari tayong magmukhang mayabang sa paningin ng ibang tao. In an ego conflict, the individuals view winning or losing the conflict as a measure of the expertise and personal growth. So, example, kapag magkaiba kayo ng idea or opinion ng iyong kagrupo sa inyong project at parehas kayong nagpapataasan ng ego at kung iniisip mo na natalo ka or hindi yung idea mo yung nasunod is mababa na yung tingin ng classmates mo or yung kagroup mo sa iyong kakayahan. At syempre, magiging mababa na rin ang iyong tingin sa sarili mo. The fourth type of conflict is values and belief conflict. A values and belief conflict occurs when people differ in their feeling about an aspect of life, and those differences are brought into focus on a particular issue. So, maaaring magkaroon ng values and belief conflict kung kayo ay hindi nagkakasundo or dahil sa iba't ibang paniniwala at beliefs. Maaari rin hindi magkaroon ng pagkakaunawaan ang iyong pamilya, sa inyong magkakaibigan or sa inyong mga classmates kung magkakaiba kayo ng paniniwala or opinion sa pananaw sa buhay. Maaari rin magkaroon ng conflict sa pagkakaiba-iba ng personalidad, kultura, religion at iba pang paniniwala.
Let's move to how is conflict resolved? So, letter A is face conflict. So, ito ay nagmumula sa pagkakaiba at nagtatapos sa pag-aayos para sa bagong pangunawa. Ang halimbawa nito, ang hindi pagkakaunawaan sa pagitan ng mga kasapi sa isang grupo hingil sa direksyon ng proyekto ay maaaring malutas sa pamamagitan ng bukas na komunikasyon at pagsasakripisyo. So, letter B is spark. Isang pangyayari na nagpapalala sa sitwasyon. So, ang halimbawa naman nito ay maling pagkaunawa o pagkaintindi sa sinabi ng inyong kaibigan, na kung saan nagdudulot ng mainit na pagtatalo sa pamamagitan sa pagitan ng mga kasamahan sa paaralan. So, letter C is fanning the flames. Ito naman ay lumalala at nagiging mas matindi ang alitan kung saan kadalasang dahil sa mga maliit na issue kung saan nauuwi sa isang malaking pagtatalo. So, letter D is taking side o pagpapasya ng panig. Ito naman ay ang mga individual na sumusuporta sa mga magkasalungat na pananaw. So, letter E is showdown o pagtutuos. Ito naman ay ang pinakamataas na antas ng alitan kung saan ang mga panig ay nagtutuos. Ang halimbawa na lamang nito ay ang alitan sa pagitan ng manager at empleyado na maaring magkaroon ng pagtutuos kapag inilalabas ang mga hinaing ng pampubliko na nagdudulot ng isang konfrontasyonal na pagpupulong. So, letter F is resolution and adjustment. Dito naman ay nagmumungkahi ng solusyon at pagsasakatuparan ng desisyon. Ang halimbawa sa resolution ay ang alitan patungkol sa papel sa proyekto. Maaring magkasundo ang mga kasapi sa grupo sa pamagitan ng paghahati ng gawain upang mas mapadali at magawa ng maayos ang kanilang proyekto o kanilang gawain. So, ang halimbawa naman sa adjustment ay ang pag-aayos ng mga deadline sa proyekto batay sa kakayahan ng bawat miyembro ng grupo upang matiyak ang epektibong pagtutulungan at pagkakaisa.
Okay, so next naman is what we call the conflict resolution. So, sabi niya dito that conflict or disagreement or problems that need to be addressed and resolved. Conflict resolution is the process of addressing and solving issues by working together to find a solution. Involves dito ang communication, understanding, and compromise to reach mutually beneficial outcome. Next naman is what we call the avoidance. So, some of us, when we face a conflict, mas pinipili nating i-avoid na lang. But sabi na dito that avoiding a conflict does not address or hindi mariresolve yung problems if you avoid that conflict. Sabi nito, however, avoiding conflict does not address the underlying issues and can lead to unresolved tension and problems in a long run. So, mas lalo mo lang pinapalala yung problema if you avoid a conflict. Next naman is what we call the accommodation. So, accommodation means adjusting to someone else's needs, preferences, even if it means sacrificing your own. Involves dito on focusing on your things you need in common and trying to avoid conflict or disagreement. Next naman is what we call the delaying resolution. So, delaying resolution of a conflict means addressing only minor issues or making partial compromises without fully resolving the main issues or the main source of the conflict. The idea is to temporarily calm down the situation without addressing the core issues that are causing the disagreements. Next naman is the confrontation. So it says here that the best way to resolve a conflict is by confrontation. Confrontation. So, confrontation means openly addressing the problem at hand rather than having a personal argument. It involves discussing the issues, sharing ideas, and actively collaborating to find a resolution that satisfies everyone's involved.
Okay, before we end our lesson for this day, I just want to sum up that conflict can be resolved only when both parties are agree to cooperate, believe the problem has a solution, recognize that a difference of opinion is not a personal attack, respect the opinion of all involved, make an effort to be patient. So here sa conflict is hindi naman siguro nagagawa yung conflict kung walang solusyon. So always choose to resolve it rather than make it make always resolve the conflict. Okay, lagi nating piliing resolbahan yung conflict kaysa panatilihing yung conflict na ating kinikimkim. Charis. So, conflict is lagi nating isipin na may solusyon ito at lagi nating unahing i-resolve ito habang hindi pa lumalaki yung gulo or conflict na nararanasan natin. That's all for today, and I hope that you learned something about our report.